How do I feel about day one patches? Well, there's lots of pros and cons. Before day one patches, contracting people for video game development was, to be frank, kind of awkward. Because the game would go gold, i.e. have its final printing ready, well before it could be distributed, and the people who were part of the team just kind of sat around until the game was sold. So that could be anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months of just developers getting paid to do basically nothing. Which, is fun, it's basically vacation, but studios would take that into account and would usually pay developers a lot less. If developers were let go at the end of their contract, that sometimes a game would come out and it would have a whole bunch of problems with it, and then they'd have to rehire the developers just to make a new version and then start sending that version out to stores. This cost publishers money, it made it hard for developers to find work, and if they had to replace the old development team with a new development team, it would usually make the game even more buggy when they tried to patch the bugs in new versions. In short, publishers had a choice between a buggy release version or a buggy new version, and it just wasn't working out for anyone. Day one patches should be a good thing. They should keep developers employed longer, and they should create more stable games. It also allows developers to have more steady jobs as opposed to developers getting let go as soon as their contract is up. Overall, it's a really efficient use of time. It makes developers get paid more, and it makes publishers get bang for their buck. But nothing in the games industry can be good without a catch. And the catch for day one patches are, they don't really work out for the consumer. First of all, they negatively impact reviews in a lot of different ways, which means that the consumer is less informed before they make a purchase. They make people who don't have good internet have to play games that are basically in an unfinished state. And you have to remember that there are lots of people that still live in rural areas with bad internet, and lots of people who live in other countries with bad internet infrastructure. It's not a given that everyone who plays video games has good internet. And it's really bad for game preservation. It used to be all you needed was a disc or a cartridge and the game would basically be preserved. Now you need the disc, the firmware that plays the disc, the update patches, an updated firmware that can handle the patches, and so forth. In a vacuum, day one patches are good. I just don't think the rest of our technology and culture has caught up to make them as good as they should be. Our internet infrastructure is not universally good. Our laws, especially copyright laws, don't allow for good methods of game preservation. And the way the gaming industry has shook out as a multi-billion-dollar industry makes day one patches kind of ripe for abuse. But I don't think that it's realistic to say that games should just be complete. Like, the cat's out of the bag, and day one patches are here to stay. So I don't think that we have to get rid of day one patches. I think we need to work to make the other parts of the industry and of society catch up to the potential of what a day one patch could be. And that's going to take some time, but hopefully we'll get there.